Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you can join us tonight for our continued Bible study in the book of Deuteronomy. We're currently in Deuteronomy chapter 33. We'll get started in a moment, but before we do, I want to go to the Lord in prayer. So I invite you to pray with me. Our dear Father in heaven, we come to you. We thank you so much for all you do in our lives. Thank you for hearing and answering our prayers. We know that each of us have requests, things going on in our lives that we want help with. So I pray you minister to each of our needs and help us to be a blessing and minister to others' needs as well. And we ask for your guidance as we open your word tonight. We pray that you would give us your spirit to open our eyes to behold wonderful things out of your law. And we pray that you would use these experiences, this time in your word to strengthen our walk with you and make us more like Christ in the image and the measure, the fullness of the stature of Christ. So we thank you for all you do. Please guide this study according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So what we studied last time was Deuteronomy 33, and we looked at the blessings that Moses gave to the children of Israel, to each of the tribes, and we already looked at Reuben, and we compared it with Genesis 49 because there is blessings upon each of the children of Israel from Jacob, or Israel, because his name was changed to Israel. So Jacob gave a blessing upon all his children as well. And we were comparing the two versions of the blessings. Verse 7 says, "This is the blessing of Judah." And he said, "Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies." That's a pretty good blessing, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
So, hear the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies. So I want to compare that with Genesis 49. So Genesis 49 is now going to be the blessing of Jacob. And the order is different. So Reuben, now we got to look for Judah, because that was the one we saw. That was the one we saw in Deuteronomy, right? The blessing of Judah. And what is Jesus called? The
The high
lion?
priest.
Lion of the tribe of
Lion.
Judah.
Yeah.
That's right. The lion of the tribe of Judah, Revelation 5, verse 5. So if you look at Jesus's lineage laid out in Matthew 1, and it's also in Luke, it shows Judah as the ancestor of Jesus. So he's the lion of the tribe of Judah. And Judah was blessed in a pretty nice way there. I'm going to look at the 49 version. It's 49 verse 8. Anybody want to read that? Let's read the Judah's blessing is all the way to 12. So anybody want to read Genesis 49, 8 through 12?
I could read a couple verses.
All right.
Judah, thou art he whom the brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. he stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up.
Right. Thank you. 10 through 12. Anyone?
The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
12 also.
His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white as milk.
Okay. So there's the blessing of Judah compared to Deuteronomy's Moses' blessing. There are some similarities here. One would be his enemies, that God would take care of his enemies. And it calls Judah a lion. That's interesting because we just read how Jesus is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And then it says, a scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. And if you remember what happened, the Israelites split, and Judah became like a separate, almost like a separate nation from the rest of the Israelites. So literally, Judah always had a king on the throne. Anyway, it's pretty neat. Until
Why,
Shiloh come, though it
why
says.
did why did they split? Because I always hear about the 10 lost tribes or something like that, but I didn't really put that much thought into it.
Okay. That's a very good question. So why did they split? Notice it says there's not going to be a lawgiver depart until Shiloh come. And who is Shiloh? What is that talking about? Before we go into why did they split?
He's the peacemaker, right?
Shiloh, it's only used once. This is the only place. He whose it is, that which belongs to him. Tranquility. Then it says meaning uncertain. I understood that it's referring to Jesus. Yeah, there it says an epitaph of the Messiah. Shiloh. That's the way I understood it. This is talking about Jesus. So when Jesus comes, then the lawgiver in Judah will, it's not going to be continually going on. It was only a prophecy until Shiloh comes, until Jesus comes. Then it would, then that prophecy would stop. It doesn't need to continue after Jesus came. So anyway, the question is, why did the 10 tribes split from the others? And it was from Solomon's son. Does anybody remember his name? Was it Jehoshaphat?
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam. Okay, thank you. Rehoboam. I don't know if I spelled that right. Oh, good. Melba's. All right. Welcome, Melba. So here it is with in First Kings 11:43. I believe this is where it started, where the split was when Solomon's son reigned. Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. Okay, anybody want to read some of these verses? This is starting in verse 1, 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 1.
And Rehoboam went to Shechem for
Shechem.
all it Shechem
I think
Shechem
so.
for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt.
All right.
That
Thank you. You can keep going.
they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous, and now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, when come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do you advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did laid you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father has chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, and the king had, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake unto them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah, the Shilonite, unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse, to your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it
No.
came to pass, is that it?
Well, I know you've read a lot, and we could probably stop right here. And
Mm-hmm.
um, well, actually, we can read a little bit more. So,
And when it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
all right. So there you have the split
Yeah.
between Judah and the rest of Israel. Anyway, does that answer your question, Soham?
Yes, yes.
So
So
you see
wait, so
what
who did
caused it.
they stone? Who did they
Um,
stone?
it says they stoned the man who collected tribute. So he was a tax collector, so to speak. And he was a tax collector for Rehoboam, and they rebelled because of what Rehoboam, he chose the counsel of the young men instead of the old men. The old men had a much better counsel,
Yes.
but Rehoboam went with the young men's counsel, which was, I'm going to increase your burden, make it harder for you, and chastise you with scorpions. You know, that reminded me, on Sunday, I, for the first time in my life, got stung by a scorpion.
Uh-oh.
I found out they sting and they hurt. They're not fun. So don't
Oh, I've only been stung by one once, and that really hurts.
try. Yeah, I found out.
Yeah, it
That
makes
was
your whole leg. Where'd you get stung on the leg? I got stung on the
No,
ankle, on the
I got
leg.
stung on my middle finger right here, the tip of my
yeah.
middle finger.
Oh, I got stung on my leg, and it just made my whole leg like it was on fire.
Oh, wow. I put charcoal on it fairly quickly.
Oh, that's good.
Um, but it did sting for probably like 10 to 12 hours, and it was a pretty strong sting. And then it's feeling good now. I'm fine. I don't even notice anything, but it made my fingertip numb, like kind of a weird sensation. So
Yeah, I think
anyway,
over in those countries, their scorpions that they have there, I think those are the poison ones. These ones that we have here, they just sting, but it
like
goes
a
away after a
wasp.
while.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, like a wasp sting kind of.
Yeah. Wasn't
Yeah,
that
this was
dumb
go ahead.
advice that those young guys gave him? I mean, what a
Yeah.
dumb bunch of advice. The old guys gave him good advice. It's just clear to see.
You said they grew up with them. See, that's your friends. Don't take your friends' advice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Don't always trust your companions, your peers. Your peers might not be give you good advice.
And and it said that they took 3 days to make this decision.
Right. That was
So
smart for him to do that. Think about it.
yeah, but why couldn't he think it out clearer in those 3 days? How
Yeah.
in the world?
Yeah, that was really really bad idea, and that caused the splits between Judah and the rest of the tribes of Israel. So
Wasn't
that
that
did
prophesied? Was it
what
prophesied? Like I think there was something about like ripping a garment up and giving pieces out or something like that. It was like
I think that was prophesied. I don't remember. I
True,
don't know how
true,
to
but that
find.
doesn't mean it's God's will.
Good point.
Just knew that would happen.
Well, Jeroboam had to flee, right? Because his tax collector got killed, and so Jeroboam was like, "Oh man, I'm out of here."
Mhm.
Jeroboam or Rehoboam fled?
Yeah, it was Jeroboam.
Oh,
Was it? Did I say it
Solomon's son was
wrong?
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam. Okay, sorry, I said it wrong. Rehoboam is the one that had to flee because his tax collector got killed. Yeah, Rehoboam. Sorry about that.
oh,
Jeroboam.
so what's
Jeroboam
that?
was the one. Jeroboam was the one that ruled over the rest of Israel.
Hmm. So was he a good king too, or no?
Two, I don't. When you say two, Rehoboam didn't seem to be a good one. Uh,
No, 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 no. Jeroboam. Like, was he a good king? Like David?
let Let's
Absolutely
see.
not.
Nah,
He was
got him
not.
into idolatry, right? Because they
Remember, he
just
set up the
go to
two
Judah.
golden calves.
Yeah.
And the
He did?
sad part about it is that all these people, the 10 tribes, or however many tribes there was, should have been 11, but it only says 10. Uh all those people couldn't figure out that it would be wrong to go and worship God whilst kneeling before golden calves. Why? Why were It's just surprising how easily people can be led astray.
Yes.
But remember, back in Samuel's day, they rejected the Lord.
You think they were still rejecting the Lord all the way till
Yeah,
this point?
that's why they're where they're at right now.
Oh my goodness, it's just, yeah, you're probably right. Never really got back.
Even today, they reject his son. So they ultimately reject God.
Well, that's who they rejected in Samuel's day. So I would be saying that Jesus got rejected twice.
No, no. I'm just saying now. Now they still reject him
Oh
because
yeah,
they reject
yeah,
God because they reject Jesus.
Right.
Well, most of them anyway.
yeah. So,
Well,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, it's just they rejected him back in Samuel's day. So that's how they went in decline after that.
It seems like there must be a lesson for us here because here, you know, I can understand them wanting to reject Rehoboam's, when he said, I'm going to tax you more and your burden's going to be harder than it is now.
Uh-huh.
I can understand why they wanted to reject him. But look at the danger they put themselves in. They put themselves with a leader that was not fully committed to God. And so
Yeah.
he led them astray, even more than they already were.
Yes, and historically when you look back at the history of the kings of Israel were more wicked than the kings of Judah generally. There were some bad kings of Judah too, but the kings of
I don't,
Israel were worse.
yeah, I don't think there's any of the northern kingdom where it says that the king did right in the eyes of the Lord. I think all of them did wickedly, and they never got rid of those golden calves. So even in the uh, there was a king or who prophet or king or whatever his name was, Jehu or Jehu, however you say that. He he was the one that killed
Jezebel and her family and all the relatives. And so it seemed like they were having a revival, but he never even got rid of the golden calves.
Huh.
So as much of a revival as it was, it did no good at all.
Yeah, here is the story of Jeroboam, or a verse that says Jeroboam made the golden calves gods. It's 2 Chronicles 13:8, if anybody wants to read it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
And now you think to withstand the kingdom of the Lord and the hand of the sons of David. And ye be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves which Jeroboam made for you, or made you for gods.
And then it also says these golden calves were in Bethel and in Dan. Dan was the very northern tribe.
It was convenient.
Yeah.
He was looking out for them.
Well, let's, if you want, we can move on to the next child of Israel, which is Levi. Anybody want to read the blessing of Levi in Deuteronomy 33:8-11?
Sure. And of
Right.
Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, thou whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law. They shall put increase before thee, and whole burnt sacrifices upon thine altars. Keep going.
Yeah,
So
1:11.
bless the Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
Okay, thank you.
I
So
did not
that's,
understand that.
you didn't understand it? We can read over it again. So, and of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
Can you tell us what Thummim and Urim is?
Okay, I'm just gonna look at it here. It says Thummim is equals the word perfection, but they're the stones provided for the means of achieving a sacred lot. Used with the Urim, the will of God was revealed. I understand there were stones on the garment of the high priest on each
Yeah.
shoulder. There's a Urim and a Thummim on these are the stones on the high priest's garment, and they would light up to answer from God.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was something that God stopped talking um, to Saul with. Let me just find that verse. Oops. So here's all the places where the Urim, there's Urim and Thummim. Thou shalt put it in the breastplate of judgment, the Urim and the Thummim. It shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goes in before the Lord. Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel. Then Leviticus 8:8, and he put the breastplate upon him. Also, he put in the breastplate the Urim and the Thummim. Uh, I'm trying to see where it says they lit up, or I mean that might be just a legend, so to speak, whatever you want to call it, carried down by voice, word of mouth. Let's see. So here's one. 1 Samuel 28:6 is where Saul was trying to talk to the Lord, but he stopped talking to him by dreams or by prophets or by Urim. So the Urim being the Urim and the Thummim on the breastplate of, or the garments of the high priest. He stopped talking to Saul. Anybody want to read that one? It's 1 Samuel 28, verse 6.
Yeah, I could read that. And when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets.
All right.
Yeah, we don't want to have that happen to us. We want the Lord to guide us and speak to us.
Right.
Amen.
Absolutely. So this shows too, though, that the Urim was some means by which God in the past had communicated with the king, with King Saul. He would communicate with him through the Urim and the Thummim, and by prophets, and by dreams. But there came a time when he stopped doing that. So it just shows that the Urim and Thummim were a means which God communicated with his people. I kind of guess that it was like you get yes or no answers from that. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Where one would light up versus the other. All right. So we read the prophecy of Levi in Deuteronomy 33. Let's look at what it says in Genesis 49. Anybody want to read verses 5 through 7? This is Genesis 49, 5 through 7.
I'll
Simeon
take it.
and Levi.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret. Unto their assembly mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Are these the guys that took revenge when their sister got raped?
Yes. And their father was upset with them the way that worked out because now everyone's going to hate them and didn't like it. But there, you can go all the way to verse 7.
Oh,
Anybody?
sorry. What was that?
Verse 7 is the final
Oh,
verse.
okay. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
Huh. Well, that's an interesting statement, right? Being that Simeon and Levi would be divided in Jacob and scattered in Israel. There is an interesting story about Levi and Dan. I don't know if you ever heard this story. Uh, it's going to be a very big list of verses, but there's a story in Dan. It's probably in Joshua where this guy had idols. Okay, here it is. I'm pretty sure this is it. No, maybe not. No, that's not the one that I was thinking of. Okay. Here, this is the one. It's in Judges chapter 17. It's kind of a strange story. Let's just um yeah, let's start at verse 6. Anybody want to read this? Judges chapter 17, verse 6. We're going to read 6 to 17, I believe it is.
I
In
can
those days,
go ahead.
oh, do you want to split it?
No,
Maybe.
okay, you
Okay.
go ahead and read till you get tired.
Okay. In those days where there in those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And there was a young man out of Be- Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah as he journeyed. And Micah said unto him, Whence comest thou? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place. And Micah said unto him, Dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man because became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. And said Micah, Now I that know I that the Lord will do me good, seeing I have a Levite to my priest. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them in inheritance.
Oh,
Wait, this is
hold on.
verse 1.
Yeah, that's the next chapter. I I'm trying to find out. Yeah, let's read 1 through 6 or 1 through 5 because we didn't read that yet. This is Judges 17, 1 through 5. Anybody want to read those?
I can read it. And
Okay.
there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah. And he said unto his mother, The 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou cursest and spakest of also in mine ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my son. And when he had restored the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Micah. And the man Micah had an house of gods, and made an ephod and teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priests. In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did which was right in his own eyes.
And that's where you get the story of where we already read about Micah wanted to have a priest, a Levite. So he hired him. He paid him a certain amount of money and gave him clothes and victuals. And the Levite came in and became his priest. Anyway, that was in the house of Micah, and Micah thought he was going to be blessed now because he had a Levite priest. But he also had a house of gods made out of gold. Isn't that weird?
Well, and his mother was gonna do that too.
Right. So this seems like a not a good practice for God's people, of course, to be having these idols. Had a house of gods, it says. But then he got a priest, a Levite priest, to somehow incorporate with this house of gods, I guess. It was in the house of Micah. He hired him a priest, a Levite, to be his priest. At first, he had his son as his priest. Um, he consecrated his son to be his priest, it says, one of his sons. But then later, he hired a Levite to be his priest. Anyway, I was just sharing that story because it's kind of a weird story that you find. I'm not sure how that makes sense that this guy thought he could have a house of gods, golden gods, and then hire a Levite to be his priest. And then his final statement at the end of the chapter is Micah said, "Now I know that the Lord will do good to me, do me good, seeing I have a Levite to my priest." He thought he was going to be really blessed because he's got a house of golden gods, and now he's got a Levite.
What wouldn't the Levite have questioned all that?
I would think so, but I mean, it seems like he was agreeable to dwell with the man. The Levite went in and dwelt with the man. After he was told what he would get pay. And it says the Levite was wandering around looking for a place to go, right?
Uh-huh.
He was traveling around. He wants to find a place.
So apparently he was willing to kind of compromise his beliefs.
I guess. Now, as far as I know, this was up in Dan in the northern part of Israel, so it was, kind of far off from Jerusalem.
Well, remember, the Levites did not inherit any land.
Yeah, good point. And there was no king there, and so things were operating in an odd way, I guess. But this was before they had a king. It wasn't until later that they requested a king. And
But
Samuel,
didn't God give the Levites land? Because there's some kind of law in the Old Testament where if you did something like third degree murder, you would go to the city of refuge, which the Levites, it would be their city, and they would take care of you.
yeah, that is true. The Levites had cities of refuge, but as far as I know, that wasn't for everybody. Not all Levites had a place like that. It was only for some of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's no set of land that they were given like the other tribes, because their job was law enforcement and religious duties.
Mhm. Well, back to the prophecies of Levi. So Jacob's prophecy was that he was a cruel man. His anger, God would um, cursed be his anger. It says, for it was fierce. And then it says, I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. That's what made me think of that story of this Levitical priest roaming around Israel and finding a place in Micah's house, found employment there. It seems like he was scattered. Levi was scattered through Israel. at least in that one story. Anyway, that's what made me think of it, was that part of the verse here. All right, we can go back to Deuteronomy chapter 33. So, of course, in Deuteronomy 33 is the Levites would teach the law of God to the rest of the children of Israel. And they would also put incense before the Lord and burnt sacrifices on the altar. So that is what happened. That now, when Jacob mentioned his prophecy of Levi, that was far in the future. There was no indication that the Levites would be priests for the rest of Israel. But in Moses' time, of course, that was already established. Okay, well, let's go ahead and read Benjamin. In Deuteronomy 33, the prophecy of Benjamin is in verse 12. Anybody want to read that?
Yeah, I could read it. And of Benjamin he saith, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders.
All right. Actually, there are more verses for this. I guess it goes all the way to 17. If anybody else wants to read, or you can continue, either one. So we're in verse 13. We're going to go all the way to 17.
Well, I'll read verse 13 then.
All right.
And of Joseph he saith, blessed of the Lord be his land for the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that couches beneath.
Okay. I am sorry. For some reason, I missed the Joseph. So that's a new start. So Benjamin is
Oh,
just
okay.
verse 12.
Okay.
Benjamin was just verse 12. So let's look in
Yeah, I
Genesis
see that.
49. So we already read about Judah, Zebulon, Issachar, Dan. Um, so where's Benjamin? Okay, here's Benjamin. That's a short one. 27. Anybody want to read Deuteronomy or Genesis 49:27?
I'll take it. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
All right. Now the word raven, I'm not familiar with that word. Oops.
Probably probably a howl like a wolf.
Oh, it says to tear in pieces, to catch. So yeah, it's to tear or to rend. So that's what the word raven means. So Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. So it sounds like Benjamin would be like a soldier. So compare that to the Deuteronomy 33 one. Benjamin, he said, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. Dwell between God's shoulders? Wonder what that shoulders is. It says side or shoulders. So it's not always shoulders, but I guess it would be shoulders because he's dwelling between the shoulders, between the sides, between the shoulders. Anyway, so he's going to dwell in safety, and then he's going to be like a devouring wolf. All right. Any thoughts or comments on Benjamin?
there was a sermon done on like that the tribe of Benjamin almost even got wiped out over that, where they sent the like divided the person up into 12 pieces. Was it a harlot or something? They sent it each
Yeah, that is
out,
a
and all,
that is
yeah,
a strange story.
they almost, yeah, wiped out. They had to, let's see, I guess they, yeah, got them down to like only a few hundred left.
Yeah, that's the people in that city were in the same state as the people in Sodom.
Yes,
It,
it was a
and then the tribe made the mistake of defending them.
say that one more time.
The tribe made the mistake of defending the people in that city.
What city?
This that city where that man and his maidservant stayed at, and then they ended up raping the woman to death.
Mm,
Yeah, so do you
yeah.
want to read the story? It's kind of a sad story.
I guess I can read it.
Judges 19 and 20. So it's kind of a long story, but
Uh, and it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel that there was a certain Levite sojourn. Wait, didn't we read this already?
no, this is different. This is a different one.
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this is the same one.
oh
This
no,
is
yeah, it's the same guy, but okay, it's the same guy. Journeying on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having a servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with them 3 days. So they did eat, drink, and lodge there. And it came to pass on the fourth day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. Then and the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. And they sat down and did eat and drink both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, be content. I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. And he rose early in the morning on the fifth day to depart. And the damsel's father said, comfort thy heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat both of them. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, and said unto him, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here that thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow get you early on your way, and thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled, his concubine also with him. And when the master said unto him, we will not turn aside hither into the
oh
city of a
no, verse
stranger.
11. Verse 11.
Oh, and when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent. The servant said unto his master, come, I pray thee, and let us turn into the city of the Jebusites and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, we will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah. And he said unto his servant, come and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night, in Gibeah or in Ramah. And they passed on and went their way, and the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in a street of the city, for there was no man that took them into his house to lodging. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjaminites. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city, and the old man said, Whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim, from whence I am. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to the house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into his house, and he gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet, and did eat and drink. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, Belial, uh,
The devil.
yeah, sons of Belial, I guess, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came unto thine house, that we may know him. And the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this fully. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing.
Hmm.
But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her Lord was, till it was light. And her Lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. And when he was come unto his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her, together with her bones, into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. And it was so that all that saw it said, There was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider it, take advice, and speak your minds.
Okay, let's pause there for a minute. That's pretty gruesome.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened? What an evil city. That's
Yeah.
like you said, the same
Almost
as
sounds like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
yes. So what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah is fire came down and burned them up. It almost seems so evil here that something similar needed to happen.
Yeah, that's why they went to war with
Yes.
because to avoid the same fate.
Right. That was a weird way to send the message that man did, by splitting this person up and then sending her all over to get the attention of the rest of the children of Israel about how evil this place was. So that's when now we can pick up the story more in Judges 20. Verse
So
1
what
is
is
when
this
the went to battle. What's that?
the way he sounds like Lot. If I'm not mistaken, he said that go and take my daughters.
Right. Yeah, it was a very similar response to
Yeah.
It's
now
so
it
weird.
almost
It's so weird to hear. I mean, for us in these days to hear that kind of a response, it's like, why would you do that? That's just
right.
terrible. But it must have been different. It must have seemed different to them.
Yes, it is. It does seem extremely strange.
I don't
Um,
know. Might still be happening today.
Well,
yeah.
if it isn't happening right now, it's certainly going to be happening soon because we are about at that point.
Well,
I
Yeah,
in some
it's
countries,
happening right now.
in some
think it's
countries,
happening in Britain right now.
You
in some
really?
countries, they sell their little 12-year-old girls to old men and marry them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in other words, sacrificing women to appease wicked men. That uh,
Hmm.
Britain has a big problem with foreigners raping many of their women, and the
Hmm.
government is allowing it to to appease that foreign population.
Unbelievable.
Is that what all the rioting in Britain has been about real
Yeah,
recently?
yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
a big
'Cause
part of it.
I saw a clip of police,
Shame on
subduing
you.
rioters. Yeah, but I didn't know what was happening.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shame
the
on you.
foreigners are literally raping and pillaging the country.
I
Oh
don't know why
no.
they put up with it. That's so dumb.
Oh,
Yeah,
Put
that
these
Well,
is
people in prison or put them to death. It's just ridiculous.
It
yeah,
has
but
something
that's
to do with
how
the Sharia law,
It's the Islamic immigrants, right?
Islamic,
well,
right?
yeah, many of them because they consider non-Muslim women as people they can abuse.
That's
Nobody
right.
has a right to come into another country and be violent. I don't know
Yeah.
why that would be okay. It would never, why would it be? It wouldn't be okay. It shouldn't be okay.
mhm.
Well,
Very atheistic over there,
yeah. Well,
and Islam is taken over.
those the ruling class over there would prefer the Muslims over the British people
Hmm.
Why do you say that?
because in an Islamic system, you're you're allowed to rule, right? The Europeans, although not so much, but they believe that the government should serve them, right? The
Oh, the government
so
should serve.
yeah, but rulers don't serve anybody. They believe that people should serve them,
Oh,
right? So their political class believe that they should be able to rule over people. And
Did,
so they would rather accept Islam, which allows them to rule, than to serve their own people.
did you remember as we were reading through the story of Rehoboam and Jeroboam,
Hmm, I
how
just thought of that.
the older men gave counsel to the is it Rehoboam? I get those mixed up. So
Yeah,
Rehoboam.
he told Rehoboam to serve the people. Remember that?
right,
Yeah,
right.
mm-hmm.
But Rehoboam decided, no, I'm not going to serve the people. They're going to serve me.
Exactly.
that's exactly
uh-huh.
it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
So, but the other thing is that the foreigners they don't see that the politicians don't see them any different than British people because you know Britain was an empire, which is a state that rules over diversity of people. So Indians or Pakistanis or whoever else that may or may not have been under British rule are just British subjects to them, to the government, just like no different than British people. So they don't, so the government doesn't treat British people as a people that they serve. They're no different than anybody else from somewhere else in the world that would be subject to British rule.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty messed up situation. But this, what we just read, sure seems like a messed up situation. You know, when this man and his concubine and his servant were traveling, his servant wanted to go to Jebus, the Jebusites, and lodge in the city. And then the master said, "No, we'll not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah." They were expecting, this man was expecting to get treated better by his own people. But it seems as if he would have been better off going into the Jebusites.
Yeah. How
I don't know
sad.
what would have happened there. I don't know. It may have been really bad there too. I don't know. But he goes to his own people who he thinks is going to treat him well, and he gets there and nobody lets him stay, give him lodging. Except this one old man finally gave him lodging. But then the people of the city came to abuse him, tried to abuse him, and ended up killing his concubine. So what a sad state. Well, anyway, this caused a revolt or an army to come against the Benjamites. That's what we see in Judges 20. All the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Mizpah. And the chief of the people, even all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew
Wow.
sword. That is a huge amount. That's almost 500,000 men.
Amen.
And they were going to go and teach this Benjamin city a lesson. And they came and asked the city to deliver the people that were in it, the wicked people. And they refused. They protected the wickedness in this city. Anyway.
Yeah, and all to avoid Sodom's fate.
And then what happened is a whole battle ensued, and it killed most of the city of Gibeah.
Wow.
Most of the men of the city got killed. There's like 20,000 men or something. I don't remember the number. Um, and then what that did is it left a whole bunch of the Benjamites without husbands. Or no, was it? I don't remember. It's kind of a strange story. 26,000 men that drew sword of Benjamin. That's how many. So it's 26,000 men against 100,000 men. So anyway, but they were left-handed. They could sling a stone at a hair's breadth and not miss. So they were pretty talented.
That's
But
wild.
many of them
That's
died.
weird.
Yeah, I guess there's something about being left-handed that makes you more accurate throwing stones, slinging stones, more precise.
It was different. I mean, you notice that because it's only mentioned a few times when somebody was left-handed. And I can
Right.
understand the one time, I can't remember who that was, but it was whoever that guy was who I think of the king he killed was Ehud. He stabbed him. He was left-handed, so he stabbed him with the left hand. Of course, the king wouldn't have been expecting anything to come from a person's left hand. So
Huh.
anyway, he stabbed him and he left his knife in there because the guy was fat.
Oh, I see.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that was mentioned that he was left-handed.
Okay, I
So
didn't remember that aspect of the story.
I think
So
it said all the dirt came out.
yeah,
yeah, there's some strange stories in the Bible. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Soham, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
we
I just
started
wanted
these
to
stories,
say,
we might
well,
lose.
one question. I just want to get the story straight. So it was the tribe of Benjamin. So it was just the tribe of Benjamin who came in to fight back,
Let's go ahead
right?
and let's go ahead and read it because I was trying to summarize it, but I wasn't doing a very good job. But let's read Judges 20, chapter 20, the whole chapter, and that will help answer those questions. Anybody want
Oh,
to read it?
and also, I just want to say, it sounds really messed up, the fact that the guy, cut his wife and sent it off to the 12 tribes or 11. But I mean, the only way I could see the reason him doing that was because he needed proof to show people or show the tribes that,
Right.
that this tribe killed his wife because ultimately he's going to start a civil war, which is, which is going to shed a lot more blood if it was fake. So it's really messed up, but that's the only way I could see someone justifying it.
Yeah, they didn't have email back then, so that was a method they used, I guess. Or this one case, I don't think it was common. All right. Anybody want to read? I already read Judges 20, verses 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and read 3 and keep going.
Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel, Tell us, how was this wickedness? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah, that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine, to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about me by night, and thought to have slain me, and my concubine have they forced that she is dead. And they took my concubine, and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, ye are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any of us go to his tent, neither will we any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it, and we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of all of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man.
Okay, let's pause
And
for 1 second here. This is a time when there was no king, so this was the way they were dealing with justice. It was a place where there was no rule by king. There was no president, or it was just every man did what was right in his own eyes. And in this particular case, this stirred the people to take action against this city of Benjamin that did this evil thing. So it's just interesting the way it was dealt with in a time when there was no rulership. There was
So
anarchy, so to speak. As far
no,
as anarchy, I think that just means without law or no
no, it's
leadership.
democratic.
Okay.
With the king, it's autocratic.
Okay.
Remember what Jesus explained? Matthew 20:25.
Yes. So shall it not be among you in the church.
No,
You're not supposed to have a rulership like the
that's
Israel.
26.
Okay. I said it wrong.
No, just the 25 is the autocratic one,
Oh, okay.
where it says the in the world of the nations, the ruler holds dominion over the people, and those who are great wield great authority over the people.
Yes. Right.
That's autocracy.
Okay. And what they were living in here in Judges was you said a
Democracy.
democracy but they still didn't have a president like, we
Yeah,
would.
yeah, because they're self-governing. They're supposed to be because the 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 Lord is supposed to rule over them, not a king,
Right.
until First Samuel chapter 8, right?
But it is kind of interesting that they were able to gather this many people. There was 400,000 men that drew sword that came as a result of this uproar.
That is
Um,
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty amazing that happened without a king or any set ruler leader of the group. But then it says here they came as one man. They were knit together as one man. It's kind of neat how that could happen. Anyway, what they're trying to do is just get rid of the evil amongst them. They can't let this kind of evil be prolonged. So it's almost as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Wow.
It's dealt with.
Mhm.
So that's what they're doing. They're dealing with it. All right. Now, verse 12, if you want to continue, Soham.
Verse 12, and the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What wickedness is this that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death, and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men.
Let's just pause there again just to see how evil of a mission these guys were on. These people of Benjamin that drew the sword, they're going to fight. What are they fighting for? They're fighting to defend these however many small group of men that were doing this terrible wickedness in Gibeah. They're going to defend them? What a crazy thing to do. Why would they want to go
To-
and defend them?
Totally messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
now there's preachers who defend homosexuality, so kind of
Yeah,
it's like the same spirit, but
yeah,
different
same thing.
different
Yeah,
court
it sure
cases.
is. That's messed up to defend sin.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was thinking too, Soham. It seems like there's people today that are doing the same thing, just with the different
wow.
circumstances.
And then I've seen some of the videos where obviously, we're not Catholics, but it's like a priest, but on her robe it's just a rainbow. And I'm thinking,
Oh,
what? In the Catholic Church? Oof.
it's sad that the rainbow got hijacked to represent evil.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess it seems that loyalty to the tribe was more important than justice here.
Yeah, they're willing to fight against their brethren, their kindred. This wasn't a fight just against some invading army. It was simply a fight to fight against their brethren that were trying to make things right, put away the evil. That's what it says earlier in the verse. They wanted to put away the evil from Israel. That was their goal. And the children of Benjamin says, "No, we want the evil." They're defending the evil. Anyway, that seems like it's happening today. People saying, "We want the crime to continue in our cities. So we're going to fight for it. Fight for the right to
Washington,
commit."
D.C. in the
Yeah,
news.
fight. Exactly. We're seeing it today. Fight for the right to commit evil. What a crazy fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can kind of see the sides here. Who's on God's side, who's on the devil's side here.
Mhm.
All right. Anyway, we can continue. It's verse 16, I think, is where he stopped.
Among all this people, uh, among all this people, there were 700 chosen men, left-handed. Everyone could sling stones at an hairbreadth and not miss.
Wow.
And the men of Israel, yeah, David's got some competition.
Yeah, true.
And and the men of Israel, beside Benjamin, were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first.
So
And the children, yeah,
pause there just too. It's neat to notice that the Lord was directing the children of Israel here
Right.
um, against Benjamin. So anyway, it's kind of neat. Even though there was no king, they were still being directed by God.
Amen.
Okay, 19.
and the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel put themselves arrayed to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men.
Man, they only had 26,000 soldiers and they cut down 22,000 men. All
Oh,
right, go ahead.
Wow.
wow.
Well, maybe because Gibeah was on a hill, and I think that's the word. If you ever hear the word tell in Israel, that means mountain. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that most people.
Yeah,
Oh,
the word Gibeah means hill.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it'll be pretty easy to just arrow them down or something.
Yeah, they had 700 left-handed men that wouldn't miss at a hair's breadth, it said.
That's
Ooh.
amazing.
What verse was I on?
21. No, actually, you read 21 already.
22. Oh, no,
23.
23.
Okay.
Yeah. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against him. And the children
Notice,
of Israel.
notice the question included my brother. They're like reminding God, this is my brother.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Wow.
And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept and sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord.
I
And
don't
the
think the
children,
word Lord here refers to God.
you don't think so?
No,
Yes.
because they're
Well,
sitting before him.
well, it's Jehovah.
Yeah, but remember the angel shares that name.
oh, so you think it's Christ?
Yeah, remember Joshua chapter 5? That man that
Oh,
shows up.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, and Jesus was the one that was leading the
Okay.
Israelites through the
Yeah,
wilderness.
yeah, to
You
lead.
know,
Yeah, because remember that list of people he was going to deliver into their hands.
Right,
So that list was in Exodus 23.
right.
right? About the angel that was
Correct.
going to, yeah. So then, the man shows up drawing a sword, leading a host,
Correct. Yep,
leading
that
them
was,
across Jordan against that same list of people.
yeah, good point.
Plus, they would be dead if they sat in front of God.
Right. Well, it's neat that they keep going to the Lord, and even offering
Yeah.
sacrifices and stuff. So
Mhm.
that's a good thing they're doing there. But so far, if you kept up with the numbers, there was 22,000 the first day, 18,000 the next day. That's 40,000 men have already been slaughtered by the 26,000 Benjamites.
How in the world is that?
Yeah, it seems like
So
the Benjamites haven't lost anything yet.
that's wild. Why were they so, well,
Yeah, it is
doesn't seem
wild.
like that's the way it should have been.
Right.
Yeah, but my friend was asking me this question a few months ago, and I'm just remembering it now, reading the actual story. So why did God tell them to go up even though they lost? Is there some kind of lesson?
That is a good question. You think if God's guiding you, and some people would even say, if you do something and you feel the Lord is calling you to do it, but then it didn't turn out the way you expected, it must not have been the Lord talking to you. Have you ever heard or thought of that line of reasoning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
evidently in this story, that shows it's not true. The Lord can still lead you into places that it may not turn out the way you expected and wanted it to. But it doesn't mean the Lord wasn't leading you to start with.
Yeah. I guess finally in verse 28, he then says he'll deliver them.
Yes. So there must have been a reason for this. I don't
Oh,
really know.
maybe they weren't, maybe they weren't fully committed to fight for the Lord when they went into this. And maybe this is why they came back and did all this praying and sacrifices and stuff to consecrate themselves to God more. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, good point. I don't know if we read. I don't think we read verse 27 yet. It mentions the Ark of the Covenant. Anybody want to read that? I mean, I guess Zoham, if you're continuing, we can start there.
And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And Jehovah said, Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hands. And Israel set liers in wait round about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people and kill, as at other times in the highways, of which one goeth up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, They are smitten down before us, as at the first. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee and draw them from the city unto the highways. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place, and put themselves in array at Baltamar. And the leaders in wait of Israel came up forth out of their places, even out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel. And the battle was sore, but they knew not that evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed all the Benjamites that day 20 and 5,000 and 100 men. All these drew the sword.
So that left them less than 1,000, right?
I,
Because there were 26,000. Now there's 25 of them gone, plus 100. So there's only 900 left. Anybody
war
want to?
is a terrible thing.
Yeah, it is a terrible thing.
But the war didn't have to happen at all. They
No,
should have
if
said, "Oh, you guys, why are you doing that wickedness? We'll
right,
handle it. We'll bring justice to these, I can't even talk today, but they should have the Benjamites should have handled it."
you're right. They shouldn't be defending the evil.
Right.
Right. So, are we going to continue 36?
Okay. How many verses are there, by the way?
Oh, let's see, 48.
48. Okay. 36. Okay. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the leers in wait, which they had set beside Gibeah. And the leers in wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah. And the leers in wait drew themselves along and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an anointed sign between the men
Appoint,
of Israel.
appointed sign. By the way, that's the word moed, if anybody wants to know. Let's see, moed. Anyway, it's translated
The
feast
sign.
sometimes. Yeah, the appointed sign is moed.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead. 38.
Now there was an appointed moed between the men of Israel and the leers in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to smite and kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons. For they said, Surely they are smitten down before us, as in the first battle. But when the flame began to arise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them, and them which came out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. Uh, 40, I don't know where I'm at. 44?
43.
Oh, 43, sorry. Thus they enclosed the Benjamites round about, and chased them, and trode them down with ease over against Gibeah toward the sunrising. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All these were men of valor. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness, unto the rock of Rimmon. And they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them unto Gidom, and slew 2,000 men of them. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 men, and that drew the sword. All these men were of valor. What does valor mean, by the way?
Okay, good question. Let's look at that word really quick. Valor, strength, might, um, strength, ability, efficiency, wealth, force, army. So
Okay.
now it's translated strong and strength and valiant. So from what I understand, when it says men of valor, these were these were very notable men, very able soldiers. They weren't just, weak men. They were strong men, notable for their success in battle.
Okay,
Right.
47.
Yeah.
But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Ramon, and abode in the rock Ramon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men the men of every city as the beast, and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to.
So anyway, that was a lot of reading. Sorry.
No worries.
But what ended up happening, there's another weird part of the story that they had wiped out all of Benjamin pretty much. The only people left were these 600 men. They didn't even have women. So they
Really?
couldn't. Yeah, okay, let's read. Let's read it. I'll read a bunch because I know, unless somebody else wants to, but this is a lot of reading. I don't want to belabor it too long, but now the men of Israel had sworn in Mizpah, saying, "There shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife." So, see, they made a commitment that they weren't going to give their daughters to Benjamin because Benjamin was so evil. And the people came to the house of God and abode there till even before God, and lifted up their voices and wept sore, and said, "O Lord God of Israel, why is this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel?" So they had done a thorough job of wiping out the Benjamites. There are still a few left. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said, "Who is there among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation unto the Lord? For they had made a great oath concerning him that came not up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying, He shall surely be put to death." And the children of Israel repented them for Benjamin their brother, and said, "There is one tribe cut off from Israel this day. How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wives?" And they said, "What one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah to the Lord, and behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, "Go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children. And this is the thing that ye shall do: ye shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that hath lain by man." And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by laying with any male, and they brought them unto the camp of Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. They were there for how long? Remember, it was 4 months, right? There were these leftover children of Benjamin were hiding out in the rock Rimmon for 4 months. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because that the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, "How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin?" And they said, "There must be an inheritance for them that be escaped to Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, Cursed be he that gives a wife to Benjamin." Then they said, "Behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly in a place which is on the north side of Bethel." on the east side of the highway that goes up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebanon. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, Go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and see and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall
It's
be when they
crazy.
it shall, yeah, it is. It's a crazy story. And it shall be when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, Be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserved not to each man his wife in the war, for ye did not give unto them at this time that they should be guilty. The children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught, and they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwelt in them. And the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family, and they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. In those days there was no king in Israel, every man did that which was right in his own eyes. That was mentioned a few times. So anyway, that is the story that happened, all because these evil men tried to or did this wickedness with this woman. We were trying to kill the man, but they ended up killing the concubine, his wife. Anyway, that's how it all started. And how it ended was with 25,000, a little over that, 25,000 men of Benjamin killed, and 40,000 men of Israel killed. So it was a pretty,
Pretty terrible.
pretty sad story. But it all started with evil, and then this was the way that they were to rid the evil from their nation. And then they had this kind of a strange scheme to get wives for them, because they had killed all the wives of the children of Israel, burned up all their cities, or the children of Benjamin. And so they were trying to figure out a way that they could still keep Benjamin as a tribe alive, because if they didn't figure out a way to get wives for them, then their whole Benjamin tribe would be wiped out. So that's kind of a neat aspect of the story, is that they were trying to figure out a way to keep Benjamin, their brethren, have a inheritance and have a lineage, so they'd stay alive. But it almost wiped out the whole nation of Benjamin. They would have all been wiped out if the Israelites would have pursued them further. But they wanted to make sure they didn't wipe out the whole nation. Okay, well, that's the story. I don't know exactly how we got on that route, but are there any comments or questions about this? I think we're going to wrap up for the evening pretty soon.
I think we were just trying to figure out what that prophecy for Benjamin was meant.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we were reading. Let's see, that was Genesis 49:27. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, now read it again, and then
Yeah,
it'll maybe make more sense.
right. Okay, go ahead. Anybody want to read that? Genesis 49:27.
Uh, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
Well, I mean, I guess he that word raven, remember, it means to devour or to slay.
Mm.
Benjamin did. I mean, he wiped out 40,000 of his brethren, the rest of the children of Israel, all to
Well,
defend the wickedness.
it's odd that that part of it isn't in there.
What do you mean?
I mean that it doesn't, in this little prophecy right here, it doesn't say
Oh,
that it was not a good thing.
yeah, that's a good point. Um, and then Moses's prophecy is in Deuteronomy 33, and that one, where was the part about Benjamin? Verse 12. Anybody want to read that one now? Deuteronomy 33:12.
Okay, I'll read it. And
Benjamin,
of
he said,
Benjamin, go ahead.
the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, who shelters him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders.
Huh. So these are the two prophecies of Benjamin that were given long before what we just read happened, where Benjamin almost got completely wiped out. It says that Benjamin is the beloved of the Lord. Do you remember who Benjamin was? Remember, Benjamin was Joseph's little brother.
He was the youngest, right?
Yes, he was the youngest of them all. And
Oh,
Joseph really liked Benjamin because he was his only 100% full brother, because his mother was also Benjamin's mother. Joseph and Benjamin only had, Joseph's mother only had two children, Benjamin and Joseph.
Right,
And that was Rebecca, right? Is that
right.
right?
Rebecca. So
Rachel,
also
Rachel, sorry, not
Rachel. Oh,
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah, all the rest were from
Wait,
Leah or from her handmaids.
wait. I gotta look that up. But anyway, Benjamin was also the tribe that remained with Judah after the 10 tribes left.
Okay. But it said earlier when we read that only Judah followed him.
I wonder why that is, because where's Benjamin?
Well, you can see that Benjamin got really evil because you see what happened. That the city of Benjamin was so bad it was like Lot or like Sodom. Sorry, it's like Sodom and
Mhm.
Gomorrah. It was a very evil city. And then when that wickedness became known to the rest of Israel, how evil they were, then all of Benjamin came and defended that evil.
Right.
So it just goes to show that the nation of Benjamin was really evil. They had
So
come to the point really,
maybe by the time of the dividing in Rehoboam and Jeroboam's time, maybe
uh-huh.
Benjamin was very small at that point.
Yeah, yeah, maybe so. Um, I'm not sure. That you would think they would be smaller than the rest of the nations since they got wiped out almost completely.
Yeah.
But I tend to think that they must have been really evil. You can see from the evidence here, and it was necessary for them to be trimmed down, kind of like the flood. Had to reduce the population to
Right.
only the righteous would be left. So I would guess that the ones of Benjamin that were left must have been some of the better of them,
Right.
not that were so evil. But anyway, this is a prophecy. Benjamin, the beloved of the Lord. I guess those 600 men that were left were beloved. They shall dwell in safety by him. It seems like the Lord was at work to turn the children of Israel, remind them not to utterly destroy their brethren. So the Lord stepped in to save Benjamin alive. The Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. So you can kind of see this prophecy playing out for Benjamin, for the ones that remained, at least.
Considered the remnant.
Yeah, the remnant. Anyway, the next one is Joseph. So we'll have to look at that. Next time. We're not going to go over it tonight anymore. So the question was raised about Benjamin, how many there were, what happened when the children of Israel forsook Solomon's son Rehoboam and started their own nation, so to speak, their own kingdom. Would have been better if they never had the king. That's what Samuel told them.
Right.
So they did have a way of dealing with sin, even though there was no king. And the way of dealing with it was to go, and they tried to deal with it small, right? They started, let's just deal with the people who committed this terrible wickedness. That's what they started with. They tried to deal with it small, but you can see how big of a issues arose out of it. It got really big because some of the people weren't willing to deal with it small.
It's pretty sad. Pretty sad
Yeah,
to think it could get to something like that.
yeah,
You know,
very
it's
sad.
just a situation that included a few people, and they didn't deal with it properly, so then it became everybody's problem.
Right. So we can learn from that today, right? Um, if we have to deal with stuff, it needs to be dealt with. Let's not defend sin.
For sure.
All right. Well, any other comments or questions before we close for the evening? I know we didn't really answer that one question about where was Benjamin. Can just did a search for Benjamin, and this is a story in Joshua 21. You read that already. Then you get to Judges. It says the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem. The Jebusites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. So that was not a good thing, right?
Right.
Still had some corruption left over. Out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek after thee, Benjamin, among thy people. I'm not sure that helps much. And we'll go forward to where it talks about the kingdoms. So there's Rehoboam. It says when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 104,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. So there, who mentioned that Benjamin stayed with Rehoboam and Judah?
Yeah, Benjamin stayed with Judah.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Because the tribe of Benjamin was with them to fight against Israel, to try to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But that didn't work. So Benjamin stayed with Judah, it looks like.
Yeah, because that was part of punishment for Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
The Solomon brought the uh, worship of the gods into Israel to
Right.
please his wives,
Yep.
his
Bad.
foreign wives, and
Bad
then
idea.
oh, sorry, uh,
I just said bad idea.
yeah. So, but Solomon repented, and so the Lord said that he wouldn't take away the tribes during his lifetime, but they would be taken away from his son.
I don't remember that story with Solomon. I do remember it with Ahab, King Ahab. It says that about Ahab, that he would not bring the evil in Ahab's day, but it would be in his son's day. Was that story done with Solomon as well? I don't
I believe
remember.
so, but we should check uh,
Yeah,
at
no,
some time when you have spare time.
yeah. Oh, I spelled Solomon wrong. Anyway, it looks like that's going to be a long, drawn out study.
Yeah, it's going to be towards the end of his life.
Yeah, so there'll be the end of Kings.
See, Solomon, the king of Israel, had built for Ashtoreth.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and Chemosh.
All right. Well,
It'll
let's
take
go
a
ahead
while.
and wrap up for tonight. Yeah, we can find it another time. And I know that some of us are tired. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up. Does anybody have any closing thoughts, comments, or questions? Well, I just want to say that I think all of God's part in this, whatever he was involved in these stories we read, it was good. It was a good thing that he did. It was not evil. It was not um, being doing anything unrighteous in it. There must have
I
been deep
guess.
reasons that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is their king. That's why he didn't want the people to have a, a human king.
Right. God foresaw the evil that would happen if human kings came on the scene, which it did.
Yeah,
There's
like the other nations.
a lot of bad things that happened as a result of that.
Hmm.
Were you going to say something? Was it Melba or somebody else? I don't know.
I just agreed with you that
Oh,
it must have been good because God knows everything. So
right. We only have certain pieces of the puzzle. Can you imagine putting a 1,000 piece puzzle together and you're only given 20 puzzle pieces?
doesn't make any
You can't.
sense.
Isn't that
Yeah.
what the book of Job teaches you in the end?
What's that? Yeah, God knows everything and uh,
Yeah.
men don't know.
Only, only he can determine what is just.
Yes.
Wow.
Uh, Although I remember this time we were discussing just and unjust versus good and evil.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So,
That was in person when you were here with us.
oh, that was the first time I discussed it.
Okay, yeah. That was quite a while ago.
Yeah. It, you know, just one of those issues about use of language.
Right.
I think the most difficult one for people to understand is the use of the word God.
Yeah.
It's because the word God is, I mean, even Jesus explained this, right? That it can be used for
For
any
judgment.
judge and ruler.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's like a angel or Satan has a basic meaning. Like Peter was, remember Jesus said, "Get thee back, Satan."
Yes.
He called Peter Satan because he was trying to prevent Jesus from fulfilling his mission.
Yeah, to be more specific, I think he was talking to the one behind Satan's comments. He was talking to Satan directly, but he was going through Peter to do it, so to speak.
Well, I guess both can be true, but I think in this case, he was just referring to Peter himself as Satan, not the Satan.
Okay, I
For
think I
example, the
get
word
what you're saying.
Satan is used in other contexts in the Old Testament.
Like an adversary, right?
An adversary or an obstacle, someone who
Okay.
interferes, accuses, harasses it. So it's like
Hmm.
the word angel. It can be used to refer to the spiritual beings that are under God, but
True.
it can mean anybody who's just delivering a message.
Yeah. Well, good points.
Yeah,
All
so
right, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up though for the evening. Um, anybody want to volunteer to pray for us? Well, I don't mind praying. All right, let's pray. Our dear Father in heaven, we come to you and thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for the privilege of being able to open your word together. We looked at some really hard things tonight, difficult to understand, but we only have a small amount of the puzzle pieces. So we trust that the one who knows all things has all the puzzle pieces and knows all the details, ins and outs of every one, that you did what's right and you're doing what's right. And we thank you for that. And we do want to learn more about you and understand your ways better. So we thank you for this time in your word to help us get closer to that point. Please forgive us of all our sins and lead us into all righteousness. Cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So we ask for your blessing and guidance upon each person here represented and all the prayer requests from earlier. And we ask that you watch over and keep us until we meet again. And thank you for all you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, my brothers and sisters, I look forward to seeing you again. Those listening online, I'll talk to you later. God bless.